What's up guys, this is Al, and in today's episode I'm giving this flower bed a makeover. Yes, it's past due, it's been about a year and a half since I last touched it, but it's time. So in today's video I'm going to be giving you several ways that you can actually get rid of the biggest problem you're going to have, and that is the grass and the weeds. So I'm going to be telling you the different steps that you can take in order to get rid of them, also what type of plants I'm going to be putting in here, and how to maintain it over time. So if you're interested in turning a flower bed like this into this, well, keep on watching. So the biggest challenge you're gonna encounter when taking care of a bed like this is gonna be the grass and the weeds. For me, I don't really have that many weeds, but I do have grass. And over the years, I've done everything in here, so I have learned a lot and what to do and what not to do. So what's the easiest way to get rid of the grass? Method number one, and that is, well, you get a weed eater like this, and then you just weed eat the heck out of it. What is the good thing about it? It's the fastest method. What's bad about it? Well, in the next few weeks, the grass is just gonna regrow. Method number two, you weed eat the grass, get rid of it, and then you put a ground cover. You can use cardboard, or you can use a ground cover like this, which is a synthetic fabric that goes on top of the soil. And the purpose of this cover is to prevent the weeds from growing back. One of the good things about it is that, well, still relatively fast. Weed eat the grass and then put this over, and then you put mulch over it so it looks nice. What's bad about it? Well, just like everything else, it's not going to last. If you use cardboard, the grass or the weeds are gonna grow over the cardboard eventually. And if it doesn't grow over the cardboard itself is gonna break down over time, and it's gonna allow the weeds to actually grow. Now, some people combat that by using wheat cloth because technically it doesn't break down as fast. Well, check this out. I have wheat cloth in the ground all over my place, and I have grass growing right through it. But some people are gonna say you need to buy the more expensive wheat cloth, the thicker stuff, because that prevents the weeds from growing. That is a lie, because I have bought the most expensive wheat cloth you can imagine out there, and I still had grass growing through it and weeds over time, especially in direct sun, especially if the area gets water. And if it doesn't grow through it, the next thing that's gonna happen is over the months, dirt, debris, and the mulch itself is gonna break down on the surface, and it's going to allow the weeds to grow. Method number three, and that is spraying. You get rid of the grass by weed eating, and then you spray everything with chemicals to kill the weeds. What's good about it? It's very fast. What's bad about it? Well, check this out. It's chemicals. It goes into your soil. And regardless of what the label says, I do not trust it. I do not use chemicals for that reason. And method number four, which I left it last, is pulling it by hand. Sometimes you're not going to be able to get a weed eater in the area, especially if you have older plants, and especially if you have been neglecting your plants for your garden bed for a little while, or your flower bed. So you're going to have to pull the stuff by hand. What are the benefits? Well, benefit number one is when you pull, you're pulling from the roots. So you're actually getting the whole plant out of the ground, and it's going to prevent it from growing back. What's another good thing about it? Well, it lasts a lot longer. Since you're pulling the roots, there's no roots to come back from, so your plants, the weeds, are going to stay away a lot longer. Let's talk about the bad stuff. Well, the bad stuff, number one, it's extremely labor intensive. You're going to be on your knees, you're going to be pulling weeds and grass or whatever it is you're trying to pull for hours. So that is the main reason why most people do not like doing this. Most people do not like to hear the truth that you need to do this in order to keep your weeds gone. So yeah, so that's the main reason why this method is not the most popular one, even though it's actually one of the most effective ones. So which methods am I gonna use today? Well, check this out, guys. I have done every single one that I just listed on this bed. And does it look like it worked? Nope. I have done wheat cloth, I have done cardboard, I have pulled by hand, I have weed eated, which is what I have been doing recently just to keep the weeds down, and nothing works long term. You can see there is actually wheat cloth down here. Yeah, look, you see that? And the grass, like I said, the mulch broke down on the surface and gave it a place for the weeds and the grass to actually grow and poke holes through my wheat cloth and rooted themselves into the ground. So what method am I using today? Well, today I'm gonna use a combination of all of them except for spraying chemicals. I don't do that anymore. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get my weed eater, gonna weed eat everything. Next, I'm gonna pull whatever weeds I can that are closest to my plants here by hand. Next, instead of using weed cloth, which is what I've used in the past, I do not like it, especially for flower beds, unless you maintain it. I'm gonna be using cardboard because I know I'm not gonna be maintaining this all the time, and I don't mind the cardboard breaking down because it actually makes it easier to come back in the future and take care of it. Because right now, what I'm gonna have to do, I'm gonna have to actually probably pull most of the wheat cloth out so that way I can replant. So let me get to it. This is one of the reasons why I do not like wheat cloth, because if you try to take it off in the future, or if you're trying to work in that area again after the weeds have grown over it or through it, it just makes it so complicated to pull everything out. It makes it so much harder to pull it because it will just start ripping out, and then you got junk all over it. And if you ever dealt with this in the past, you know exactly what I'm talking about, and that's the reason why I'm using cardboard today. So I got the bed clear as much as I'm willing to do right now. This is what it looks like. These are my irrigation lines. So let's go ahead and let me put the cardboard down, and then we'll go ahead and start planting. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the plants that I'm putting in this flower bed. So I'm not putting a lot of flowers in here simply because, as you saw, there's a lot of grass growing in this area, and putting flowers, it's just gonna require a lot of maintenance, like weekly. I will have to be here every single week pulling weeds by hand and making sure it looks nice. So that's one of the reasons why I'm not doing flower beds. Instead, what I'm gonna do is, actually I'm gonna do some vines. These are sweet potato vines right here. Now, let me give you a little tip when going to nurseries how to get the best deal for this kind of stuff. For one, you need to understand how the plant grows. So this is an extremely fast growing vine, and the reason I'm going for sweet potato vines is because I need shade. The only way I'm gonna be able to keep the grass from growing in this area, like you saw earlier, is by shading the ground. It doesn't matter how much cardboard I put in this area or wheat cloth or anything else, the grass is just gonna take over unless I do maintenance regularly, and I do not. So my goal for this area is to plant sweet potato vines, and then these guys, as they get older, they will shade the ground, preventing the grass from growing. So let me go ahead and start planting them. And then also I got this canna lily right here, which they give you cool looking flowers, and they grow very easily in my area. These plants right here, they take full sun, no issues at all, and they grow super fast. They are frost sensitive, but all I gotta do in the winter time is just cover this up, and then everything will regrow in the spring. So let me go ahead and start planting. One last tip that I forgot to give you is when going to nurseries and picking plants, pick the smallest ones you can find. Like this trays right here, I believe they were $10. Now they also have 1-gallon containers, and their plants were just as big as this one right here, in just a bigger container, bigger root ball, and they were like $8 each. So right here I got 6 plants for $10 instead of spending $7 for 1-gallon containers. And obviously the plants were a little bigger, but I know these plants grow extremely fast. So when buying fast growing plants, always look for the smallest ones you can have, because that's how you're gonna get the best bang for your buck. All right, so the last thing I gotta do now is put mulch over it. All right, guys, all done. So I put mulch down. The plants are in the ground. I didn't have enough space to put that canna, so I'm gonna find another spot to put it in the ground. And yeah, that's it. So the next thing you gotta do is make sure you water your plants if they were dry. If they were wet, obviously you don't have to water. I have my drip system close by to all the root balls, so it comes on every single day. And that's usually how often you're gonna have to water your plants, especially during the growing season when it's hot. These little plants right here will go dry very quickly, especially when it's hot. And if you don't water them, they will die. As you can see, a lot of them are wilted, and that is mainly because I handled the root balls, so I broke a lot of the roots, and they were also very dry. So all I gotta do now is just water them. I'm all done. It's that simple. Now, I know the plants right now look small. They may not look the greatest. Maybe not picture ready yet. But check this out. This is reality. This is what you are going to be doing. This is what most people are going to be doing as well. You just gotta wait and let your plants grow, and you'll see in just about probably 4 to 6 weeks the difference in this bed. Now, how do you take care of your plants? Well, remember, the root balls are very tiny. You're gonna have to water frequently. It's not about the volume, it's about the frequency, especially during the growing season. And winter protection, these plants are frost sensitive, so you just gotta cover them in the winter. If not, you can just, replant them every year. So what is the secret to a nice looking flower bed or garden bed throughout the entire year? There is no secret. The cardboard and the mulch, it's just going to delay the grass from growing. That is it. But the grass is going to grow regardless. So this bed right here, right now, is probably gonna need maintenance every 2 weeks. And by maintenance, it means I need to come over here, pull all the weeds, make sure I do not let the grass overgrow any areas. And then as the mulch starts breaking down, I gotta add more mulch to keep the soil covered. And the main purpose of this mulch I'm putting here is just to prevent the grass from growing as quickly. That is it, and then also it looks nice. It's not going to say, water my plants for me. I'm still gonna have to water my plants. But yeah, mulch just looks nice and prevents the weeds from growing for a little while. But eventually it's going to grow. Other than that, guys, that's it. Very easy to do, and you can do this. And like I said, you can start small, let your plants grow, and save yourself some money. Now, a lot of the picture-ready flower beds you see on YouTube and everywhere else, it's just, check this out. What people do is they buy big plants, they stick them in the ground. Let's say you're selling your house or you need something to look nice right away. Just buy the bigger plants. It will look nice right away. It's going to cost you a little more money. But what people do is they rip those beds out every single season. They put a flower bed in the spring, then everything starts looking ugly. They rip it out, and they put a summer bed, then they put a fall bed, then they put a winter bed. And literally that costs a lot of money. It's a lot of labor. And that is the only way you're actually going to be able to keep your flower bed looking nice throughout the entire year. So just letting you know. So that's the main reason why I put the sweet potato vines in here, because I don't want to do that. I just want all this to look semi-nice or better than it looked before. Anyways, guys, as always, if you like the video, don't forget to like it. If you have any questions, comment below, and I will see you next time.